test number 2.
How you doing, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of Blunders. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about Atlanteans and how good the deck actually is.
It's not the intro.
All the way from Tokyo, Japan to Toronto, here's another episode of Blunder.
What's up, YouTube? Underworld 6667 here with Draco DMD. We're going to be talking about YCS Seattle and what's going on.
So by now you've seen all the deck lists. You see,
What?
What? Oh, I said by now you've seen everyone else's interpretation of what happened and who's it to ya. But we're going to talk about it real quick and give you our feedback on how the game's evolving and what's changing.
Nothing. It's
Yeah.
all OCG. That's it.
That's one thing. The other thing is, actually it's like the first time where a set came out and a TCG exclusive didn't ruin the whole game.
True. There was no tour guides, there was no Maxi.
Yeah, it's nice. However, the game is going back to its old roots where OTK is supreme. For God's sakes, they give us a new boss monster who can attack twice, trigger effects that destroy stuff, and it attacks twice. Oh, did I say that already? Right, because the 2400 who attacks twice.
Broken?
Not broken, because you have to like get rid of a card, but then it would also trigger the effects of that card if it was an Atlantean. So like it gets you more advantage, kind of. If you,
Disgusting.
yeah, it's cool. So that deck's good. But the guy who won had this anticipated and main deck triple threatening roar and a Spirit Reaper. So he was waiting for these guys to go OTK, OTK, and then he'd be like,
Stop.
And then because he was playing a deck where if his monster survived for a turn, you were super screwed, then you were super screwed.
So he OTK'd you.
Exactly.
And you didn't play Threatening Roar.
And let's like get one thing straight. He knew the Insector combos very, 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 very well, okay?
It was bad.
Because like, again, you can play Insectors in a controlled manner and you know how to pop things, you know how to search for things. He knew how to pop the right things, special summon more things, banish certain things, get them back all in the same turn, and OTK you ridiculously. He knew how to play Insectors the proper way.
It was gross.
Which is good. That's what we expect you to do when you're playing a deck. You should know how to get all the fancy combos regardless of what you're playing against. He can be aggressive, he can be conservative, that's how Insectors play. And Threatening Roar really opened that door for him. It was a perfect meta choice. Soul Drain, I think, is a great card. I don't know if it's as broken as we hope, but I mean, it does hurt Atlanteans pretty hard, so why not? But we have to discuss one thing real quick. So apparently, Effect Veiler, not so good in the Mermail Atlantean matchup, okay? But in the wind-up matchup, it's a little bit more helpful, okay? But what do you choose? Do you choose to gear your deck towards beating wind-ups, or do you gear it towards Atlanteans? Max C is good against both, so...
Now let's talk about why Geargias did not even have a little bit of showing in this tournament. It was pretty much swiped off the board. Number one, do you know how many people were playing Noblemen in their side decks? Number two, System Down. Number three, Chimera Deck Fortress Dragon. Number four, all the Mermails played three Marksmen and like max 2 Infantry. Marksman destroys what kind of deck? Do they destroy windups? No. Do they destroy Insectors? No. Chaos Dragons? No. Geargias? Yes. Maybe, if you're lucky, the Gravekeeper matchup because they set Spy. But honestly, that is exactly why Geargias did not top at all. There was so much hate, and this is exactly what we said in our previous video. If so many people had so much hate against Geargias, they could go down real quick.
On another note though, the format is going back to that horrible stretch where chainable is king. Okay? Your cards need to be chainable. Everyone's playing triple MST, which in theory is bad, but if you're playing it right, it's broken.
The whole point of playing your Abyss Sphere is so your opponent can randomly MST an Abyss Sphere, and let's face it, that was like one of 3 cards that you had face down. Some people played even the Water Art, which is chainable to your MSTs to laugh in your face and cause you to neg 1 by yourself. There's so much plussing. The whole point of this game right now is to make your opponent neg 1 on your cards. Not to plus and do nothing.
Yeah, so the guy's Threatening Roar, which in theory would always be a neg 1, he just waited till the opponent would MST it and be like, oh, chain. But at the same time, he still activated when he needed to. But I mean, a majority of the time, I guarantee it, he got blind MST and he's like, chain.
Fine.
And same with anyone playing Abyss Sphere. Every time some guy would go random MST, they just chain it and get a +1. However, if they were to activate Abyss Sphere in the end phase or something like that, and your opponent would chain MST on it, well, tough shit for you. You just lost your Abyss Sphere.
It's the same thing. This is all old stuff. We used to do this with Call of the Haunted and Witch of the Black Forest and Call of the Haunted and Sangans.
However, Call of the Haunted plus one of these cards is a lot more setup compared to this stupid Abyss Sphere, which requires no setup at all.
There's nothing needed in the graveyard. It's all in your deck.
Exactly. So turn 1, you could already have it face down, which with Call of the Haunted, at least you knew when it was coming. If the graveyard was set up with a Card Trooper or a Sangan or something like that, at least you knew it was coming. And speaking of Call of the Haunted and Card Trooper and Sangan, the Insector player played all of these. Ta-da!
Welcome to why he won. It's not that he had a bad deck. He thought about what he was going to play. He was going to play a whole bunch of people who were going to go, ah! And then he just stopped. Threatening Roar. Sucks. Now I'm going to pop all your cards that you just wasted all of your cards special summoning. 2 cards from your hand to special summon the 2400 guy. Come on!
It was good. So everyone's going to play Insectors now. Wrong! Everyone's going to play Threatening Roars.
That's it. It's a common card. It's worth almost nothing.
Yeah, I guarantee you no one's going to play Tragodia anymore. And Gore's probably, yeah, maybe. But I mean, more or less you're going to replace your Tragodias and that kind of stuff for Threatening Roars.
Now, for next week, because, hey, let's face it, there's nothing else to talk about, you have 2 choices. First choice, number 1, numero uno. We could do the set review on the next upcoming set.
Cosmo Breaker or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Blazer.
Some fire thing.
Yes, I love fire stuff.
Or, what I was thinking, we could jerk off in a corner.
Your choice. Vote below.
And don't make those binder blunders.
Unless you really have to.